What is up, everybody? My name is Bobby. I do music, and today we are checking out the Friedman DS module for the Synergy amp system. If you don't know about the Synergy system, it is a series of modules, tube modules, all analog, where you can put together your own kind of custom tube amp or add channels to your existing amps with their effects loops. They've got several of these modules, of which I own several. And then they've got housings in which they go. So they've got a little desktop one that holds one of those. I've got the rack mount one that actually holds two. And then they make heads and combos as well as cabinets and a power amp. So the Friedman DS, based on the Friedman Dirty Shirley itself, as I understand it, sort of based around an old Marshall JTM 45 blues breaker. And this is one of my favorite modules. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. It's very classic rock, very 60s, kind of into 70s. That would have been more of the Plexi sort of thing, pushing into there, but yeah, I love this thing. I do a lot of demos for some songwriters here in town, not Nashville, but when I help them out with that sort of thing, or if I'm recording them through my rig, the DS makes it onto almost everything I do. So it's one of my favorites. It's just a good sounding module. Let's talk about the signal chain before we dive into some sounds. This is a Yamaha RevStar with the P90s, bone stock, haven't done anything to it. And we are going through my pedal board, now all bypassed. I have the gate on. We might bring that in later. It's not too noisy, but you'll see. So everything's bypassed in front of the amp, and there's nothing in the loop. We go from the pedal board into the Syn 2 with the Friedman DS in there. That goes into my 2 Notes Torpedo Live, which has my usual Mesa 4x12 with the 57 and 121 on there, just to keep these videos consistent so you can kind of bounce around them and compare the different modules and how they sound. After the 2 Notes, there is a Walrus Mako D1 and R1 doing delay and reverb. I'm going to turn those off for now, but we'll bring them back in just because it's a little bit more fun for me to play with just a little bit of stereo delay and reverb. Not much. We're not going super ambient soup, but just enough to add some fun, you know? So let's check it out. The DS itself, like all the Synergy modules, 2 channels. We have independent gain on each channel and independent bright switches. It shares an EQ, bass, middle, treble, and then we've got independent volume. The 2 channels do differ slightly in gain and a little bit in tone, I think, to my ear. The top channel has just a little bit more gain on tap than the bottom channel, so it's theoretically set up as kind of a crunch and lead sort of thing, rhythm and lead thing. So I'm going to grab the bottom channel, start there like we always do, and drive down to about 9 o'clock. Bright switches out, EQ's all at noon. Let's see what it sounds like. Kind of past noon is about where I feel like this thing comes to life. And part of my scratchy throat, I'm dealing with seasonal allergies right now. It's horrible. We're hoping for the Claritin to kick in here. So not sponsored by Claritin. But anyway, right around like noon, 11 to noon is kind of where I feel like this thing comes to life. excuse me. So yeah, it really starts to come to life. You've got plenty more gain on tap here. Now we got a little bit of hiss. That's actually the background noise there. It's not super noisy, but since we're dealing with P90s being single coil pickups, I'm going to hit a Rev G8 here. Much better. And I am going to add my stereo delay and reverb just for the fun of it. Nice and easy, not too distracting, just enough to give me a little bit of just fun, man. I love this. So let's talk. I'm going to back the gain off. I want to talk about the bright switch really quick. It's a very aggressive bright switch. It almost feels like kicking in an overdrive, like a boost kind of thing. I personally, I don't run the bright switch a whole lot. I tend to like it down a little bit warmer, a little bit fatter, but it is there if you want it. It can be really too much if the gain's down too low, for sure. Gets kind of stringy. The higher you run the gain, the less of an obvious effect the bright switch has. So I think it does do better with the gain run up. So that's the gain maxed out. I'm going to roll it back and we'll start talking about the EQ. With all the Friedman modules, and I own, I think, all of them? I'd have to double check. Except for the BE and the HBE. I do have the BE Deluxe rather than the two individual modules. But I've got this, and I've got the BE BB and the BE Deluxe. I think that's all the Friedman bases covered. I'd have to double check. But I love where the EQ sits on a Friedman. The bass just adds a really nice warmth and weight to it. The mids, always my favorite. Suck the mids right out. It's pretty just staggering. I tend to like the mids pushed a little bit on this, and with all the Friedmans, really. That's the treble all the way up. It's not super harsh. It's definitely open and bright, but it's not like too pokey. It's actually usable. Warms right up. Warms right up with the treble rolled off. I mean, it's super usable for sure. Now let's talk about the red channel here. I'm going to let's compare the gain levels. So let's get these roughly matched. Bright switches out on both of them. And here we are on the green channel. I'm going to flip to the red channel while it's playing. While I'm playing. So it's not a drastic amount of gain difference, but it is there. Bring them up a little bit. And both of them maxed out. Little more gain, little more sizzle, but they're pretty close to each other. So, you run gain down about 11:30 on the bottom channel and up at like 2 on the top channel, and you've got yourself a nice little rhythm and lead thing. So yeah, and the bright channel, the bright switch rather, on the red channel, pretty similar. It's like hitting it with a almost like a tube screamer, maybe more like a Klon, something a little brighter, maybe like an OD1 or something. But it's like hitting it with a boost, like an overdrive with the level up and the drive down and the tone up. Pushing the upper mids and the treble and kind of rolling off the low end there. So yeah, that's the DS, man. It's one of my favorite modules. I really like it just as kind of a meat and potatoes, crunchy sort of thing. It's phenomenal. I love the sound of this thing. So thank you guys for checking it out with me. If you like it, leave a comment, hit the like button, all that. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hey, where's my guitar? I lost the guitar. There it is. Clumsy feet.